You're listening to Haze Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio. Man, you know what it's like. I get up in the morning and I'm like, wow, I got a show to do. And it's always great when it ends up being a show with people that I already know, and then somebody that's from a blast from the past, which I didn't even expect, which was really cool. We've got a great episode, totally psyched. We got so many things to talk about. Plus, we have the great Haze Cup event coming soon. And you know, you guys always enjoy it. We got the American theme, independent theme going down, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we have Julie with Skunk Magazine and Franchesca from Alpaca Club. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing today?
Good.
Great to be here with you, Andy.
Yeah, I know. Very exciting. I remember we talked a little bit about this. Skunk Magazine has been around for so long, like rocked, to rival as with High Times, essentially. And do you remember the year it started?
Yeah, it started in 2003. It's a 16-year-old publication. And it started in Quebec. The two original founders, John and Attilio, were in printing in Quebec, and they were printing everything.
Now, a lot of it was the European buds, right? I mean, back even before 2003, Canada was like, prior to America really being the source of a lot of cannabis strains and things. A lot of stuff came from BC. Right?
Yeah, there's a big tradition there. And, John and Attilio, they worked for Haze magazine. Haze was an older cannabis publication out of Canada. And there were a lot, there was Treating Yourself, there was Cannabis Culture with Mark Emery. And absolutely. And then John and Attilio said, screw this, we're leaving Haze and we're going to start our own magazine, because they had been doing this magazine for them. And that's when they did. And when they came out, they really, they went hard.
Sure.
And they brought in a lot of great talent, like the Rev, the cultivation editor, and they really kind of went after the real deal people in the space globally. They did focus globally.
Yeah.
And they ended up being, number 2 to High Times.
Yeah.
And then about 10 years ago, which is when I came in as co-owner at the magazine, that's when like 80 more cannabis magazines came into the space. It was insane.
There wasn't that much competition.
No. And then all of a sudden it was just a glut. And now many of those entities have died, and it's very much a clearer playing field.
I mean, publishing is one of those beasts where to stay in a long time is a tough thing, unless you, after the first few years, really get a following, because it's a lot of money to really hire and public, and to do photography and print and mailing and this. There's a lot of factors I think people don't consider as much.
Yeah, you have to get your head checked, to go into publishing. When I did it 10 years ago, I had already incubated many brands in the health and wellness sector and yoga. And then when I got into cannabis, I took a vaporizer company, global, and turned them into a multi-million-dollar company, and got to really get a deeper understanding of the global industry and the whole lay of the land. It was incredible. And that's when I met John and Attilio, and they had just dealt with a court case coming down for seed importation and seed trafficking, because at the time they were the largest importer of seeds from Europe into Canada. And they were doing that through their distribution company. And so when I came in, I basically negotiated for ownership to help them fight back and to protect it and modernize it and bring it into the new era. But I had no idea that this was going to be one of the hardest things I have ever done in my life.
Sure.
And the amount of devotion and dedication.
A lot.
And just dying many times on this journey. I'm a battle-weary warrior, invincible warrior, really, at this point. And many of us in the space are, that we've been through so much. But
Absolutely.
10 years of devotion now to bring Skunk where it is now. And now, I moved it from Quebec 3 years ago to California.
Uh-huh.
And so now, and I'm here in California. I'm a native
Yeah,
Californian.
so that's great. So grew up in Cali.
Yeah.
Always had a love for the herb.
Absolutely. I've been a stoner girl, since 15. Stoner ballerina. When I first tasted the herb, it was amazing. It was so healing for the body as a dancer.
Do you remember what it was? Was there a name back then, or it was just kind of whatever?
Yeah, well, I lived in I was born in 1976, and I came up in the 80s, and then was at high school in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
And you know what it was like.
I know,
watched
sure.
the Mexi. We had the Mexi
Oh,
Buckwheat.
of course.
And then we had the NorCal. BC
was kind of like
NorCal.
Yeah.
And then having the kind start to come down. And I remember when I first tasted the kind, and I was like, what? I need to get a job. I need to start making money because I got to buy these ounces, and they're fucking expensive compared to the Mexi brickweed.
But the funny thing is, we didn't know back then. And when the stuff would come from BC because it didn't have seeds and it was real crystalline, you're like, this is the greatest weed ever. And then you don't realize that the Canadians, they were pretty fucking smart. They would bang out a lot of the crystals off the buds so they could have it for hash.
Yep,
and then it wasn't as smelly. And they fucking sent it to America. And that shit was so much better than the Mexican weed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, and to see in my lifetime even how much it's changed.
It's changed a lot. I mean, when I
Knowledge,
actually, like
world,
19,
everything, right?
1920, I went to Spain. I took off and I worked as a waitress, and that's when I tasted my first Moroccan hash, chocolate. And I was in Amsterdam in 98 and 99, and it was different. The strains, there was Northern Lights and Purple Haze and all the older strains that are nostalgic now.
I think one of the things is because a lot of those strains were classic crossbreeding, but were not huge yielders. And as the years went on, a lot of people started getting into the greed,
the green rush.
Then in the green rush, and just producing plants that yielded more, shorter time, all these things, so you could just turn over and get it out. And I miss a lot of those older strains because a lot of the strains have a lot of really great medical benefits.
Dude, I agree. I'm a total sativa leaning girl, and I tasted my first Amnesia Haze in Spain. And, the hazes, the Durban Poison, these strains, and a lot of the sativa strains, like you said, they are very worthy of gorgeous medicine.
Yeah.
But in the green rush dynamic, and with overtaxation and overregulation, it just becomes really fucking hard. For people.
Yeah.
To do that more artistic growing, small batch growing. There's certainly people that are doing it, and
for sure.
Growing like Joseph from Snowtail Organics or Woodwide Craft. There's people that are, doing special boutique stuff, and they're actually the ones that are doing the best in this fucking quagmire that we're in right now in California. Certainly.
What do you think about? I've seen Big Mike. He's so wild. But with Governor Newsom yesterday or 2 days ago, did you see that thing?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to corner him and say to get rid of the cultivation tax. He goes, he shook my hand on it. He said he's going to do it.
It's great.
It's because of Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Governor is going to choose to do it now.
No, don't even get me started on Newsom. And I don't advertise salt nutrients in the magazine anymore for a reason. So don't get me started on that. And Newsom, he's a liar. He's a liar.
He'll just say yes to say it, you're saying?
Well, no, I mean, hey, whoever gets it done, get it done. But it's.
I think they should end the cultivation tax.
They absolutely should.
Because first of all, the cultivator themselves, it's like when you're a wholesaler, you're reselling it to the stores.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck, when you grow a tomato and you sell a tomato to the thing, you're not paying this all of a sudden tax because the person who's reselling it charges the tax.
You can't double and triple dip. That's what they're doing.
They quadruple, fifth. The lab pays, the cultivator, the fucking duff, to literally the trim, taxing that.
No, it's ridiculous. It's a 53% cultivation tax. It's insane. And everybody expects to make money all down the supply chain line. It's just...
There's plenty of money to be made. That's what's crazy. Like, they're being completely...
It's contrived.
Beyond selfish. And...
It's contrived. Please, I mean, we're in a land of plenty, but we're dying of thirst.
They're making it so the black market survives. That's really the stupidity of it. If they would make it where it just be normal and reasonable, most people would probably go into the dispensary and just buy it.
Yeah.
Because at least you know there's no pesticides, there's no this. At least what you're taking for the most part is clean.
For sure. And if there was thousands of great spots to go instead of 600, like, what the fuck? Like, this region-specific deserts, cannabis deserts, and you know, all these dispensaries going down, like, this is not a tenable situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And Franchesca, born and raised in Cali?
No, actually, I am not. I am a transplant, like most people in this area. You guys are born and raised OG. I didn't. I'm actually all over the place. New York, Vegas. Okay, so
Cali,
that's
Maryland.
kind of my story too. I started in Florida.
Okay.
Pensacola Beach, where I grew up just as a wee kid. But it was a very small town, not for me. I knew I'd probably get in trouble for smoking weed because I started smoking weed like 16. You know, I was a beach kid. We surfed. We did all those things. And I wasn't really a drinker. I didn't. You know, I had a long drive home. I wasn't trying to get caught up on something like that. So it was like, oh, I could have a little weed and still make it home and it'd be okay. And so as I got old enough, right around 19, I said, I'm getting out of here. I need some culture. I went to New Orleans. I was there for about 5 years.
New Orleans is dope.
It was amazing.
Fun.
I love
jazz.
That city.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
music.
cities in America.
Right? It's dope. Like,
what ties into
and
me
you were
loved,
young, right? Like,
yeah.
so that's the time to be down there.
Oh, yeah. And I loved throwing a good party, and that was the perfect place to do it. And it's such a festival season, and it's such a cool culture to be a part of.
Absolutely.
But after about 5 years, I outgrew it.
I had my full.
I got a job offer in New York. I went and stayed in Bushwick, Brooklyn for 5 years. And I had an apartment 3 blocks from the L. It was the perfect situation. I was doing really well bartending there. It was a great supplemental income while I was trying to figure it out. It was just, I loved that city. I had so much fun, and I did some medical sales as well, which was real crazy. Okay. And then as soon as I think I had my full after about 5 years, it was a trend for me. And in 2017, I landed in LA. 6 months later, legalization happened, and I was like, I got to get on this train.
So you really just was like, boom, instant. So when the shit happened, you're like, I'm going to get in.
Oh, yeah. I got in right away.
What area?
I
Where did you apply?
Direct to farm because it was what I was used to, moving bulk to different brands and helping them fulfill on orders.
Okay, that's a dope job.
Yeah, it started there.
I've messed around with fulfilling for fucking places. You walk in, it's like not your money, but like, you know, you get to pick, you know, the people love you when you roll in.
Yeah.
You're like, you know, I don't want those pounds. I don't want those pounds. Like, those are okay. I get that. Blah, blah, blah.
It was a natural transition. I went from selling medical devices and ORs and was like, oh, cool. It's just another sales job, and it's something I really love.
Free samples, though. They want to impress you here and there, right? So you always got good
test
weed
the
to
product.
Oh, yeah.
And then I kind of saw the writing on the wall that, you know, everybody was going to get excited about this. This was going to become a harder industry to survive in, and I wanted to go on to the next thing, and that's what got me into delivery. I felt like I fell back on the old school model of high school and can buy a pound, break it down, and see it move. And it's been really cool in its way because legalization has changed it. It's very much an e-commerce business, so it's.
And how do you choose what brands you want to rep? Because I know that's always a tough decision.
A lot of it comes down to it's specific to the area. There's so many brands that are emerging from all these different areas because it's not something that every brand can sustain doing statewide. So you have these boutique brands, which in certain communities slam, and then in others they don't. So it becomes this very careful test of really knowing your customer. You have to really pay attention, and that is so much what we're about at Alpaca Club, is really understanding what our customer is and wants, and including them on what this industry is, giving them the opportunity to choose what they like, and us supplying that for their menu.
And what's the area of delivery that you have?
We are in Venice, Santa Monica, Marina Del Rey. Then we skipped some in between and went over to K-Town and downtown.
Okay.
And those are areas for now. And we just opened in the IE. We're in Fontana.
Island Empire.
Yeah.
So you guys are going straight into the population. You ain't holding back. I hope the prices are right. Yeah, people want some good deals in those areas.
We love doing bundles. We love having good deals. We have loyalty programs in place for people who are loyal to us to get a consistent 10% off.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, we really want to take care of our people and keep them coming back because it's a pack, it's family, and we want to keep that vibe going.
Hell yeah, that is so wild. It's so crazy. And you guys both feel like the COVID madness is kind of subsiding and life is going back to normal, or what?
Oh, thank God. I think so. It seems that way, at least here. People seem to be shifting back into their lives, and it's nice to see people flourish in that again, because we were stifled for a while here in California.
And now Skunk is going to be doing some events, right? That's the plans now that the things aren't as crazy.
Yeah. Things are opening up now. And, Skunk, basically it's, as I said, 16 now. And it's been a long road. And now we're ready to do some really exciting stuff. 2022 is going to be a big milestone year because we're doing lots of different things. So we're launching the Skunk Brigade, our global membership club. And
what is that? Why don't you break down what is the Skunk Brigade?
Basically, it's, Skunk's legacy is that we've taught millions of people to grow organically at home. And we've talked not just about cannabis. Obviously, we teach people to grow organic fire cannabis and with fire genetics. But more than that, we've always also talked about consciousness. What always appealed to me about Skunk, I'm actually a certified herbalist of 25 years. And so I was taught about the plants in a very folkloric way, and I was taught how to make medicines, wild harvest, and my consciousness was definitely transformed by that. And, what I've believed for decades upon, I'm 45 now, so more than 2 decades of just believing that the earth has been propagating consciousness with her plants, and that she's doing this so we can continue to evolve.
Sure.
And that we need an evolution, that we're actually in a second renaissance of sorts, and that we've been in this pandemic, which has parallels. The last renaissance, 20 million died in the Black Plague. And it was a shakeup of church and state and allowed a lot of new thought, new energy to come through. Yep. And there was not the ability to suppress industry and science anymore in the name of greed. There was these leaps forward.
Absolutely.
And so we see that now, like a lot of greed has held back many industries from evolving to be more sustainable, more regenerative.
Absolutely.
And we're more intelligent than that. So Skunk's mission really is that, along with teaching people to grow organic medicine at home, is to actually open up their consciousness, seed consciousness, talk about psychedelics, entheogens, talk about holistic health, talk about evolving from whether it be social justice or the sexual revolution or whatever aspects. It's a full-blown renaissance in humanity. And so that's really what the Skunk Brigade is all about.
That's
is
cool.
that we have this tribe of millions that have learned from us.
Sure.
And we want to take it further. And we're going to have all these different membership opportunities.
Okay.
Subscription boxes.
Oh, that's fun.
And we're launching eco-friendly merch and apparel.
Okay.
And we're launching NFTs. So every cover of Skunk will be an NFT.
A lot of people are getting into
we've bought land in the metaverse, and we're launching 10,000 Sparky Skunks. Both feminine and masculine versions of Sparky.
Interesting.
Because Sparky has been our mascot for a long time.
So it'll have X amount of attributes, and then the thing will auto.
Well, we have actually a very talented artist that is doing, he does a lot of hand stuff.
Sure.
And then he brings it into, a software.
Yeah, you have,
But there's a lot of
what it is
refinement that he's doing artistically as well.
Because what it is you're doing 10,000 of that character, but he'll make, let's say, 400 attributes like shirts, a tie, a this, or whatever, a bandana,
right?
And then some will be rarer than others.
Exactly.
And then the program essentially, like as you're minting, will just spit out one, and if you're lucky, you'll get one with a lot of really cool attributes. So it's a very interesting world that we're living in with NFTs and what they can do, and the money that's coming from it, and the utility.
Well, let me just take it back to the Renaissance. Is part of the Renaissance, or what marks it, is that we're moving from a creator culture. A consumer culture into a creator culture.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have talked about this. People who are thought leaders, leading economists say we're in a post-capitalist world.
Sure.
Leading entrepreneurs say, obviously, look around us. The world that we used to know is no longer.
Yeah.
And the way that we make money, the way that we think about life.
Yeah.
My son's 21, and when you think about all the kids coming up, what we knew last century about how we would live and, what we would do, it's changing.
Yeah.
And our whole society is going to change with it. And I do think we're headed into dark times. I think the last Depression, we saw, candy and movies and alcohol come out.
Yeah.
Now I think we're headed into another downturn because, listen, in the pandemic, we saw the largest grab of wealth from the common people that we've seen in many of the several last centuries.
Interesting.
And so that's concerning because the billionaires got richer and everyone else got poorer.
Yeah.
And something's got to give.
Yeah.
And we're all struggling. And I feel like people are going to turn more and more towards cannabis and mushrooms. We already see evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And psychedelics are definitely making their way. You know?
Man. I mean, everybody and their brother is microdosing.
Everyone.
Do either of you?
I don't, but I've been told many times to take this journey.
I do.
So you've never tripped before?
Oh, no, definitely tripped. It's just always been fun.
Not in a microdose sense.
I have done microdose, but I haven't done the consistency of I wake up every morning and this is the amount that I take. And there are people that are doing that and showing great results from it. And I applaud them. I don't know if that's for me, but do I love eating mushrooms with my friends in the woods? Absolutely.
Okay.
I love microdosing personally. It helps me.
Okay.
And I do microdosing pretty consistently, both with acid actually and mushrooms. I mean, I've been doing dosing with mushrooms for 25 years. I used to make mushroom honey as an herbalist and do microdosing that way. That's actually a really pleasant way to microdose. But now I have my little chocolates or I have my little capsules. And I find it to be very helpful with stress, PTSD, and anxiety. I find it's very, very helpful.
Oh, that's dope.
And complimentary. How about you?
I kind of like Franchesca. I don't know if I feel comfortable in my current brain situation to be like, I'm going to microdose all through the day and do that of mushrooms. I guess I smoke weed every day, so maybe I microdose weed in a sense all day long. So I'm kind of, my body is used to that. I think I need to be in a different frame of my life, but I wouldn't be I would like to do it, let's say, but I just don't think.
Everybody has a different chemical constitution. What I'm happy about is that more and more people are turning to this as an alternative and getting off the pharmaceuticals.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me
But
so happy.
I like to trip out for sure. Hell yeah. I mean, like, forget about the fucking micro.
We're all psychonauts here. Yeah. Give me the macro, baby.
Singing some gods today.
Let the walls breathe.
Yeah. Well, Timothy Leary and, who else? Terrence McKenna would agree.
Yeah, they were definitely.
They were both macro.
The godfathers
guys.
of beyond macro.
Yeah.
To get to the whole nother world.
Yeah, a godly dose.
A lot of things transpired from that.
Yeah.
From the creation of that little drug right there, for sure.
For sure. And that's really the energy of the Skunk Brigade, is that, we are a global collective of humans that are woken up. We are aware of so much. And it's now, then let's have, through all this quagmire that we need to go through over the next 10, 20, 30 years of change, let's have a good time together.
Sure.
Too. Isn't that what's wonderful about cannabis and mushrooms also? Is it gets us to laugh. It gets us to loosen up. It gets us to feel ourselves.
Does Skunk dip into, I know mainly cannabis, but is there like little bits about psychedelics?
Every issue.
Oh, every issue.
Yeah, that's what I was denoting,
so every issue.
That Skunk Brigade is really about seeding consciousness, because every single issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and I'm taking it further. Like,
Sure.
I brought in the last 3 years, I brought in a certified herbalist, Brigitte Mars, who's also a psychonaut herself. She's published 14 books. She does a regular herbal column, and then I have many different writers that have written about psychedelics, entheogens,
Sure.
ibogaine, Special K, a lot of people are having a lot of good stuff with K.
Sure.
So yeah, I just want to cover
a little
it
wild
all.
for me too.
But for some people, it's getting them off of the really bad,
I know.
Pharmaceuticals that were really tearing them down. And I know people doing microdosing with K, and it's absolutely revelational for them. Is it for me? No.
Sure.
But it's helpful to them.
That's so interesting. Mm-hmm. It's great. So, Franchesca, what are the hours of your delivery service?
So we're open 12 to 10 in Venice, Santa Monica, Marina del Rey, K-Town, downtown, and Fontana.
Nice. Until 10, that's actually decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them that are open like 24 hours and stuff. Like, do you ever think about, or it's a waste, right? Or no?
No, it's more about being compliant. BCC wants you taking those last orders at 10. I mean, sometimes we don't get home until after 10, so call it that we're open later, but we like to try to get those orders in by 10. Keep it by the book as best as possible.
Because people just can go online, app this, like let's people know what's up.
Yeah, you can call us. You can place your order online. You can place it through Weed Maps. We're on Dutchy, but you can also just go to alpacaclubla.com and submit it right there.
That's easy. Like, that's a super simple.
Yep.
Right, and then you guys got there's always being kicked off of the gram if you're a delivery or call whatever. But do you have one on there or no?
I do. It is Alpaca Club. It's the _ or space LA.
Okay, so my people listening in droves are utter stoners. So you need to spell alpaca for my stoners. Okay? Don't get away that easy. Spell it for my friends.
ALPACACLUB _ LA. Follow us there. Same thing, but _ IE for Alpaca Club in the IE. Go check us out. We've had to learn some tricks. We lost our first Instagram. They're pretty strict about their policies and rules, but there's ways to get around it. You just gotta be a little careful.
Absolutely.
It's not what it used to be. Instagram used to be the Wild West. Now it's TikTok, I think.
I know. Isn't it so crazy?
It happens so fast.
It's nuts. And do you feel like COVID, I know a lot of delivery went up, like almost, they said 30%, 40%. Did it like go crazy and then people went back to life and normalness and it petered down, or how do you feel like the bell curve is in your situation?
I definitely think it's tapered off in the sense of there's less people smoking in general. I think during COVID, there were people smoking that just would have never considered that an option. But when you are stuck at home and there's a lot of anxiety and drinking's not your thing, you're willing to try other things. I mean, who wants to be stuck inside eating mushrooms all day?
Oh, yeah, right.
For 2 weeks on end.
Oh, my God.
So, oh, my God. You know, there were people that were smoking more then, so I think there's been a drop-off with that in general. But there are people that have stayed consistent through the whole matter. I mean, we launched in Sacramento to start, and we launched in Sacramento during COVID, and then expanded the year after to LA.
Oh, dope! So you're in Sac also?
Yes, we're in Sacramento also.
Look at that!
Yeah,
entrepreneur here. You got her hustling up and down.
Yeah,
Cali.
Yeah, we're kicking butt over here. So. We were excited to be delivering weed to people. There is a consistent flow of people still ordering weed. Definitely some drop in numbers, but things have stayed consistent. Nothing, breathtaking.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, nothing to worry about. People are still smoking weed. It's good. And not everybody wants to go stand in the long lines. I mean, especially here in LA. It's a experience here.
Delivery is dope if you know what you want.
Yeah.
A dispensary is different because, you have to if you don't know what you want, you're like, oh, I want to go, I want to learn, I want to look, I want to see all the different things, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you need that experience. But then there's a huge majority of stoners that know the strains and know the genetics and pretty much don't necessarily have to walk into a dispensary. Now, that was more the case when you could actually look at the flower. Mm-hmm. But now they've done these fucked things where the packaging is all whatever, and you don't even get to see the fucking nugs. Now, that is, I think, is kind of fucked.
What happened to the window, guys?
What happened to the window?
Where did it go?
Why'd you take out the window? It's like, damn, that's not cool.
No. Yeah. I mean, they definitely got really crafty on the artwork. I'll have to give them that. But, yeah, I like seeing the flower. That's ultimately why I'm buying this.
That's one of the
So then it's hard.
Parts.
It's like you got to throw the dice almost in a sense, So that's also why, knowing dependable brands.
Absolutely.
Or ones that, I don't know, but, they always grow good weed. So,
oh, yeah.
Good chances you're going to be fine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Tell me your favorites.
One of my favorite flower brands is THC Design. They just kill it with their flower, the product they produce, the staff that they produce to support retailers. They're an ace in the hole all the way across the board. Now, if we're going to switch into rosin, I'm going to talk about Rosin Tech Labs because they are They're papaya. We still have some left, and it is Cannabis Cup winner and really delicious. Oh
my gosh, I got to get some of that.
And Julie, what about you?
I need my hash.
What about some favorites? Throw some stuff out.
Well, one of the things that I really love. One of the reasons I was speaking with Matt from Alpaca Club, Franchesca's partner,
founder of Alpaca Club.
Yeah, so Matt, he originally worked with Madrone. And, I was up in Mendocino. I lived there for 5 or 6 years. When I left Quebec, where I was for 5 years, I went to Mendocino. And, I mean, right there you are in the mix of just incredible herb. And I have so many favorites. A lot of the small farmers, that are producing really incredible herb. From Casa Flor, Happy Days Farms, all the farms that Dr. Bronner's Sun and Earth, all the farms they represent, Moon Maid, Huckleberry Hill Farms, it's ridiculous. And, smoking the best of ice water hash that's coming out. There's not as much traditional hash here as I would like.
No.
But there's
it's all the oil people and the dab.
Ice water hash.
Dab.
And I'm a hash head. I like my 1 gram joints with a smear of hash inside. That's my classic joint I roll every day.
Julie knows how much I love. I got the best hash too. It's great.
I just love it. Yeah. So there's so many great brands. Yeah. What can I say?
Shout out to Doc up in Northern Cali.
Yeah.
I got some premium stuff he had brought down when he came down for the last cup. I've known Doc for 25 years from Eddie's farm.
Uh-huh. Yep. My son is actually apprenticing making ice water hash right now, which I'm happy I told him, yeah, go for it.
Bring him on some samples.
Absolutely. Be a good boy.
Good boy. Yeah. It's like most Mother's Day. Oh, give us flour. No, I want some hash. Mother's Day, give me some hash.
It's true.
That's great. Yeah. Hash mama.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love it.
Good connection.
So, best ways for people to check out the magazine?
Yeah. Well, what's great about Skunk, so definitely go and see us at skunkmagazine.com. We have lots of different new things going on. In about 3-4 weeks, we're going to have a new website and also a new Shopify cart that has all of our new Skunk Brigade membership opportunities. So we're going to definitely be getting the word out about that. So please check back there. And we have so much incredible content there. It's ridiculous. We have some of the best educators and thought leaders in the space globally writing consistently online. So go check us out. And you can buy the subscription there if you would like. Our subscription ships globally right now. We have thousands of subscribers that it goes out to globally. And then we have 4,000 retail doors across North America. We're in all the Barnes & Nobles, magazine retailers, and chain stores, both in U.S. and Canada. So you can find it out there. And then if you can't find it in your town, you can definitely just go to the website and find it. And definitely follow us on IG, Skunk Magazine. We're doing all kinds of fun activations there as the year unfolds. And yeah, the magazine, you can find my email in there. If you ever want to shoot me a message, feel free. And thank you so much.
Any shout outs, Franchesca, friends and family?
So many. We want to welcome and thank Matt Pascal, founder of Alpaca Club. Julie here from Skunk is just a major supporter. And yeah, our brands that we support on our menu, like they've rode the wave with me. So
hell yes. Thank you, ladies, for coming in. It was such a pleasure. Look forward to having some really good herb delivered from Alpaca over here. Yeah. And definitely, Julie, thank you so much for gracing us and keeping a great magazine together that I remember when I was young enjoyed.
Thank you, Andy. So and I'm excited, too. We're going to do a co-branded event together.
Yep, co-branded at the Haze Cup.
And at the 91 Club.
And then you'll get to also see them on Haze TV Network.
Yes, awesome. Very excited about that.
Hell yeah. We'll have to do like a alpaca delivery little docu show or something.
Totally.
And shout out
to a lot of funny things that happen, let me tell you.
And we have to shout out Dan Spillane as well for bringing us together, Andy. 91 Club, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Dan. We'll be rocking with him, the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, baby. Yes. On the bus. We're going to get on the bus.
Get on the bus. Well, there'll definitely be some mushrooms at that bus.
Yes, there will.
All right, cool. Sure. Well, let's continue on. Thank you, ladies, for so much for coming on. Check out Haze Radio Network, hazeradionetwork.com. Download the app and check us out on Haze TV Network now on Roku. See you guys later. You're listening to Haze Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.